Viewpoint from overseas. I'm your host Faraz Darvesh. We have several topics with us on the table. First, we will discuss what is happening in Saudi Arabia. Mohammed bin Salman, who is also known as MBS, has arrested 11 of his cousins, 11 of the princes who were due for the throne, perhaps in the future, but looks like he'd been under arrest. And one of the significant figure among them are two significant figures. One is Muqrin, who was the chief of National Guard, and the other one is Prince Talal. We all know Talal is a billionaire and a very well-known personality. So we'll see what is really happening in Saudi Arabia. We'll take a loop around this power struggle, and then we'll discuss the Pakistan's army chief has recently visited Iran. What is the outcome of that visit? And then we'll discuss what is happening in Karachi, where MQM and PSP, the two parties who have split it out of the original MQM, are now getting married and then getting divorced the next day. So we'll discuss what is really happening in Karachi politics, and then we'll discuss the smog issue in Pakistan and India, where many accidents are happening, where flights are getting delayed. I have with me Riaz and Misbah Azam. Riaz, to begin with you, tell me what is happening in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, as you just said, some of the top princes have been arrested by the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, who's a young 32-year-old, a novice, relative
adventurous
novice.
prince.
In a country where they are used to having octogenarian and septuagenarian kings and crown princes. The way the succession was working in Saudi Arabia until recently was that the sons of King Abdulaziz, there were like over a dozen of them, and they were basically going assuming power one after the other.
Right.
But the fact that they're all very old meant that there was not a lot of fresh thinking, that the country was essentially stuck in the same old ways, and that was clearly not sustainable. I mean, the world has changed dramatically, and these guys were changing, but at a very, very slow pace. And Saudi population, 70% of the Saudi population is under 30 years old. There's a lot of young people in that country,
right,
who are completely out. These people were completely out of touch with what's going on in their lives, and about 25% unemployment. So something had to happen. And one of the things that this guy decided to do, Mohammed bin Salman, is he saw that there's a lot of discontent in the country. He actually recognized that, and at the same time, he felt that he had an opportunity to consolidate his power. So he decided to move against, the people, the most powerful people in Saudi Arabia, Saudi Kingdom.
Right, Misbah, how do you see this? What is next?
Well, first of all, this is their family internal issues. And if you remember, Al-Walid bin Talal is the same person who on the September 14 or September 15, 2001,
tweeted against President Trump. Is that what you're referring?
No, not that.
Talk about September from
9/11.
9/11.
He pledged $10 million.
Right.
And Mayor Rudy Giuliani refused because he said that U.S. should be looking at their foreign policies also to avoid such incidents. So he's the same person. He is.
He's been in media limelight.
He was in media limelight, and in US, a lot of people know
He
him.
has investments in Fox News, he has
In
investments
Fox
in
News,
CNN, Twitter.
Citigroup, and not CNN, Citigroup.
Citigroup, okay.
He's
Citigroup.
like
Twitter.
Warren Buffett of
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia.
Right,
That's true. He's among the
Big investor.
Yeah,
among
and he
the-
has investment in Apple as well.
That's correct. In Apple and
Good.
this other company, 21st Century
Yep.
Fox and all that. So, okay, the interesting part is that they also crack down on their religious establishment, I would say that, like they kind of, he's, more or less I see this person, Mr. MBS, as Imran Khan of Saudi Arabia. He says a lot of things and he got the power and he did that. But if you see it carefully, these are the religious establishment which is the very cause of their government to sustain, because the Shiite population in the eastern Saudi Arabia, that population was somewhat controlled due to this high religious rhetoric. Now he's going against them. Sure, he has.
Well, he's going against Shias as well in the East.
No, that's true. But
Right.
that going against Shias is not going to do anything but going against these guys who are the one of the pillar of Shias. They were not standing on their kingdom, not standing on Shias, but
Their kingdom is standing on Wahhabi ideology.
Wahhabi
Which is the
ideology.
same ideology that
That's correct.
Al-Qaeda, ISIS follow.
That's correct. So in one sense, it is good. From you and me point of view, it is good. I would expect in Pakistan also, you will see these guys will be discouraged and all that. But I am seeing coming days maybe not very good for
No,
their
what is
people.
happening in the now? Let me start with you. What is happening? Because Lebanon is connected to this. The Saad Hariri took off for Saudi Arabia. He landed in Saudi Arabia and then resigned as the Prime Minister of Lebanon. So what is really happening? Why Saad Hariri had to land in Saudi Arabia, then announce his resignation, and then he says, and then he's blaming everything on Iran and Hezbollah.
Yeah, see, it is very, very interesting. Okay, the missile which was fired, it's 1,200 kilometers.
That was from Yemen.
From Yemen.
Yes.
But, Houthis don't have those missiles, 1,200
So that is coming from Iran.
Nobody knows. So they are blaming that Iran does it. Okay, then you just mentioned that Hariri came to Saudi Arabia and announcing his resignation on the Saudi media
No.
and saying that Iran is responsible. Just week before, there is a secret meeting going on with Mr. Kushner and some of American officials in Saudi Arabia.
Right.
So only time will tell. Coming days
Something is
will tell.
unfolding.
I am not talking about on any
Yeah,
information, but when I see
the
that something is going
Saudi-Israeli
on.
nexus that is now kind of developing, and now we can see that Saudi-Israeli nexus against Iran. Is that really a reality, or is it already a reality? Will it become a reality?
I think it's been a reality for some time,
Okay.
but now it's coming out in the open, particularly with the Trump administration being in charge. Because, Obama was much more realistic about the situation in the Middle East, and he did want to have better relations with Iran, and he was moving in that direction. But the arrival of Mr. Trump on the scene has changed all that. And now I think what Misbah said is absolutely correct, that there are reports that Jared Kushner, the son-in-law of President Trump, spent a couple of days in Saudi Arabia just before this purge.
A week before this.
Yeah. And in fact, there was a report that they stayed up, till late, like 2 a.m. in the morning, and talked about what the Saudis need to do. And it seems to me that there is a script that has been suggested to Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman by Mr. Obama, by Mr. Trump and his son-in-law. Basically, the playbook is, go after the establishment within your own country, and then take on whoever you see as the enemies abroad. Essentially open several fronts all at the same time.
Right.
The concern, even among those in America who support Mohammed bin Salman, who expect that he will carry out reforms and change Saudi Arabia. I saw a column in New York Times, columnist Tom Friedman, who said that the biggest concern is that the young prince is moving too fast, and he could run into some very serious problems, not only on the home front, but also on the international front, like opening up a front in Lebanon, already, carrying out a war in Yemen. And so all of this
he's fighting internally and externally both.
Is a matter of great concern, even to those who wish Prince Salman well.
Yeah. No, actually, that's what exactly I was. I was saying that coming days, the way he's doing things, of course, it is most of it. See, he is even more powerful than Russian czars now. I mean, he
Then
has
what? Oh,
Russian
okay.
czars. He has everything in his hand. Like in China, the party is leading the military. The party, not the person. But here, this person is a commander controlling the military, the national guards, and
Finances.
and then interior ministry. I mean, you name it.
Right.
All the important positions. Interior ministry in Saudi Arabia is very important. And they just removed
Okay,
Mr.
so
Naif
he
and
has-
then he
yeah,
put it
right.
for him there. And so coming days could be.
So he's the man in
very
Saudi Arabia right
dangerous,
now. Let's see
very
what happens in
dangerous.
the upcoming days. But it is alarming.
It
What
is
is
very
happening in Saudi
alarming,
Arabia,
and
in Middle East?
that's true.
God forbid if there is a dispute between Lebanon and Israel, and then between Saudi Arabia and Iran, Middle East can really land into a war,
That's true. See, actually,
and then it will suck in U.S. and European partners.
Actually,
as
there
well.
is already a war going on in the Middle East right now. There's a
Right.
proxy war going on between Saudi Arabia and Iran. It's going on in
Oh.
Yemen. It's going on in Syria, and it could now happen in Lebanon as
Yeah.
well.
Now, since you brought it up, let me ask you: how do you think Iran will react to all these changes that are happening? What is Iran? How does Iran fit into this picture?
I mean, the fact is that Iranians have been winning this proxy war. They are now more powerful than they have been ever before in the last 2 decades, particularly since the U.S. invasion of Iraq. Iranians have become far more powerful because they now have allies in Iraq, and they have allies in Syria, they have allies in Lebanon, and of course they have allies in Yemen. So all of this means that they have actually been gaining rather than losing. And by starting these wars, like Yemen war, for example, it is a very brutal war. I mean, it's like the richest Arab country against the poorest Arab country, where people are dying. There's a huge famine that people are concerned about right now.
Right.
So I think that there's a huge concerns that this war is going to get a lot uglier, but the chances of Saudis winning against Iran are fairly slim.
yeah,
Misbah.
actually, Iran's coming days may not be very good for Iran. First thing is that Iran is kind of surrounded by some other country, and that is one way it is good for Pakistan, that Pakistan and Iran both kind of getting to one page. Why Iran will have to be concerned about? Because the Saudi right wings who are getting rebuffed by MBS, they may join groups like Daesh. I'm not saying they are very much
Well, if
like-minded
they
with
join a group
Daesh.
like Daesh, that will not be good for Prince Mohammed bin Salman
That's
either.
true. That's true. That's what I was about to say. That having said that, it doesn't mean that Iran is the only one who is the loser in that. It would be Saudi itself a loser
Right.
in this quagmire.
Okay.
So time will tell how it is.
Let me take it to the next level. Now, Pakistan's army chief has recently visited Iran, and he met the many key officials in Iran. How do you see this? How does Pakistan-Iran nexus come into play?
No,
Given the fact that we have
Yeah.
our former army chief Rahil Sharif
Yeah.
in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, see, Pakistan's when President Trump's speech came out, after that, Pakistan tried to woo Saudi Arabia and Middle Eastern country, and they didn't get anything from there. So Pakistan was in trouble in this area, kind of isolated in some ways or the other. Now what happening that Iran is also in a situation where their strategic interests are somewhat matching with Pakistan's strategic interests. You just saw General Nicholson's statement today. General Nicholson was asked how it is coming up, how Pakistan is behaving after President Trump's speech, and General Nicholson said, "Oh no, they did not change their behavior. They are still doing the same thing." So Pakistan is not in a position to expect anything from the West now. So in that case, it is very important for Pakistan and Iran to combine together if they want to have a mutual understanding. See, India, they are making deals with India, but
Who is there? Iran is making it. Yeah.
But Iran knows very well that India has their agendas, and India is not going to make US angry or Western allies angry.
Riyaz.
Yeah, I think there has been a big question for a while whether Iran or Pakistan are friends or foes. There's a book that came out recently by an Iranian author by the name of, he's actually an Iranian-American. His name is Alex Vitanka. The book's title is Iran and Pakistan Security, Diplomacy, and American Influence. And he says something very interesting, that during the early days, Iran and Pakistan were very close friends. In fact, Iran was the first country
To accept
to
Pakistan.
recognize Pakistan as an independent nation. And then they were members of the Baghdad Pact, which later on became Central Treaty Organization. So they were very close American allies, and they were also very friendly with each other. But that arrangement started to fray in the 70s for two reasons. One, after Pakistan lost to India in the 1971 war, the Shah felt that Pakistan had been permanently weakened and that it couldn't be a reliable partner, particularly a powerful partner. And he decided that he actually could make Iran the regional power at that time. And then he also started to toe the American line, the Shah of Iran, to put pressure on Pakistan to abandon its nuclear program, because the United States was putting a lot of pressure on Pakistan to stop developing nuclear weapons, and Shah joined that pressure, and that actually made Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, who was the Prime Minister of Pakistan, and he was a big supporter of the nuclear program in Pakistan, that made Zulfikar Ali Bhutto very unhappy. So the relationship started to fray at that time, and Zulfikar Ali Bhutto then sought the help of the Arabs, particularly the Saudis and the other Gulf nations. And he was able to get more help out of them than he could from Iran.
Although he himself was under a lot of Iranian influence.
Oh yeah. I mean, his wife was Iranian.
His wife was Iranian.
And some people even suggest that he was Shia, which I don't know if he was or not. But I don't think the sectarian angle had any significance at that time. And probably even today it's not. It's more of a regional power play than a sectarian issue to me. So the question is, are Iran and Pakistan friends? Well, not really. I mean, Iran and Pakistan will play their cards depending on how the geopolitical situation develops. So they may cooperate on certain issues, and then they may compete on other issues. It is not, all this brotherly talk. I don't buy any of that. I think they're going to be very hard-nosed, the Iranians.
Okay.
And the Pakistanis will be too. Pakistanis are not going to abandon, they're not going to make an alliance with Iran at the expense of their Saudi friends.
Yeah, actually, I don't see, I respectfully disagree with Riyaz here. In our international relation, there is no brotherly relation anywhere in the world. Saudi Arabia used to be brotherly relation. Now how Saudi Arabia is behaving. They gave you $1.5 billion from
Saudi Arabia and Qatar are the closest allies.
That's true. So it is all interest. And the way I see it, that the way things are happening, Iran is in the hot waters now. And Iran needs an ally there. India, although they are working a lot of things with India, but India is not their ally, they understand it. India is Western ally. India would not do anything to help Iran to coming out. Yeah, Pakistan is in the same situation like
as Iran.
Pakistan is also pressurized. You can say any reason. Could be due to China, could be due to any other reason.
Where does China fit into this?
No, China fits into that very strongly, because most of the things are, it is like, once again, going back to this Thucydides trap kind of things. And US is nervous there with China, and that is the reason Pakistan is under too much pressure. And Iran, as Riaz mentioned, that Iran was President Obama, even President Clinton wanted to have a good relations with Iran. And if you remember last days when he was a lame duck president, his Secretary of State, Miss Madeleine Albright, says very nice things about Iranian
To
leadership.
speed up in the interest of time, let's take a trip to Karachi. What is happening in Karachi? We saw 2 days back, hardly 2 days back, within 48 hours, we saw MQM and PSP, Mustafa Kamal, Farooq Sattar coming together, doing a joint press conference, hugging each other, shaking hands, calling each other brothers, and within 48 hours, it seemed like this whole alliance broke. What is happening in Karachi politics?
You want me to start?
I want you to
Okay.
start. Yeah.
Okay, first of all, I see that with this episode, 2-day episode, has proven that Farooq Sattar is a great politician, while PSP president, Mr.
Mustafa
Kamal, he has screwed up. He went in that, first of all, he did not even let Farooq Sattar talk. He talked only 7 to 8 minutes in that long thing. And Mustafa Kamal started talking about Mahajir refugee politics, that we are not doing refugee politics, and Farooq Sattar took the same. Did you hear
Yeah,
his
I heard that.
speech? I
Yeah.
heard 1.5 hour speech.
Right.
He took it so solidly. He took the same point. And I think
And he
coming
secured the Urdu
yeah,
speaking
he
votes.
say that well, these Urdu speaking, okay, we are working for Urdu speaking, but look at it, we have Pathans, Punjabis, and other communities, Hazaras also, not Hazara community, but Hazara district.
Okay.
He named some.
Okay.
And he asked the question that Mr. Mustafa Kamal, you are talking about the national politics. Name one person in your party who is other than Urdu speaking, and you are saying that you are not going to do. He virtually took this weakness, and I think that Mustafa Kamal shoot his foot. And when Shahzeb Khanzada asked him to come and talk to us, he refused. He said, let me talk to my party and I should talk. And Shahzeb is saying that usually Farooq Sattar and these MQM people, old MQM people, they never miss a chance of coming on the platform and saying.
Riaz.
Yeah, I think, they talk about marriages made in heaven.
Yeah.
I think this marriage is made in GHQ.
Which was failed.
Maybe army headquarters.
And I think it'll be a forced marriage, even if they don't like each other. It's going to happen, I think. Even Mr. Musharraf, former President Musharraf, has spoken out in favor of this relationship. I think it seems to me that the military, the establishment, wants to deal with. They've already dealt with Altaf Hussain
Right.
in Sindh. The next target is Zardari.
Right.
They're tired of the poor governance, the problems, the crime, the corruption, and they're worried that they have now brought things under control, but as soon as they loosen up, all that crime is going to come back, all that corruption, all the problems are going to start to happen again, because both MQM and People's Party have not been behaving themselves.
Right.
So part of the problem was Altaf Hussain. He's now out of the equation. They want Zardari out of it as well. So I think what they're trying to do is create an alliance of MQM people together, bring them back together, without minus Altaf Hussain, and then also persuade the functional Muslim League, Pagara
the
group,
Pagara
and
group,
those
right.
guys to join them as well to try and get Zardari thrown out of power. In the same way, I think in Punjab, for example, they're working to get rid of Nawaz Sharif. So they're trying to reorganize the Pakistani politics.
And there is another conspiracy theory that Pervez Musharraf will pop out and land from Dubai and take over this joint MQM, PSP, Peer Pagada group and Chaudhry Shariat group, and then make the second political party. which will then be one of the major political party in the next election.
See, but so far, it is 70-year history. These type of things never worked. I mean, so how...
They have worked. Nawaz Sharif won IGI.
What do you mean by that? Later on, it becomes a Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz group, and he was... See, the thing
But
is
then
that
it worked
they
out.
created...
Nawaz Sharif emerged from it.
Yeah, they emerged. People,
So did Bhutto.
individuals can emerge from it. What happened to Chaudhry Shujat? What happened to other people? See, these kind of things. What happened to those parties? They're nowhere. Where is this IJI?
Nawaz Sharif,
It's gone. No,
Nawaz Sharif party is there, PMLN is there.
It is his party now. Nawaz Sharif's party is his party. A Muslim League was there always.
Okay.
So it is his party. It is not anything.
So did People's Party emerge.
People's Party was made in 1967. It was his party. The military did not make it.
Well,
So,
I disagree. I think every politician in Pakistan owes their success to
No,
the
to
military.
the military.
See-
Bhutto was a creature of the military. Nawaz Sharif is a creature of the military.
So was Altaf Hussain.
So is Altaf Hussain. So all these people were actually...
And so is Imran Khan.
Imran Khan as well. So I think all of these people owe to what they have to the military. And military is still very powerful, very strong. They can rearrange things, and that's what they're trying to do right now.
Yeah, and look what they did. We are crying for Nawaz Sharif, now we are removing Zardari, now we are, this is the way when leadership comes by itself versus when leadership is
You're saying when the leadership is forced on people, this is what
forced on
happened?
people, yeah. See, they brought Nawaz Sharif and now they
Well,
are,
it was-
when he was doing corruptions, he was good because he was my guy. When Bhutto was doing wrong things, he was good. He was foreign minister. But when they turn against me, they are bad people.
Okay.
And
I think-
it happens again.
Okay.
The generation of corrupt politicians. And
Okay,
we
so we're gonna
stay
not
out
gonna solve it
from
here.
it.
Let me take it to the end. Fog issue, smog issue. What is really happening and how critical is it?
Yeah, things are really bad
Right.
in New Delhi as well as Lahore. Even Islamabad is badly affected by
Lots of accidents. Yep.
And one of the problems, even normal conditions, even when we don't have the current conditions, the pollution level, the particle as measured by the particulate matter, PM 2.5 is how they define it. Particles that are larger than 2.5 micron in size.
Right.
The safe level, as defined by World Health Organization, is 10 micrograms per meter cube or less.
Okay.
Normally, it is about 100 in that part of the world, which is 10 times more. Right now, it's about 50 to 80 times more. It's like 500 to 50.
And what are the causes of this?
So there are multiple causes. The normal pollution is simply because of the way we live. We have all kinds of fuels that we use, that we burn, that create that. And then we have the issue of the motor vehicles and other plants that they exhaust this. The problem right now is crop burning, particularly on the Indian side. The satellite maps that NASA has issued show that they detected something like nearly 700 fires burning on the Indian side in Indian Punjab.
Okay.
And they're basically the biggest contributor. On the Pakistan side, they used to have lots of fires too, but right now, the NASA map shows just 27 fires.
Okay.
So all that smoke that is coming out of the fires from the Indian Punjab is affecting both Delhi and Lahore.
Well,
Yeah,
over to you.
actually,
Let's wrap it up
altogether
quick.
35 million tons in India, they are burning it. And what happens when there is a winter time, the air gets dense, pressure gets high, so the high pressure works as a lid, so it does not let the smog go out. It kind of keeps it inside.
Okay.
And of course, when the monsoon will come, raining will come, it will mitigate it to some level, but
Okay.
of course.
Now, in the interest of time, I have to wrap up this show, audience. So thank you, Riaz, thank you, Misbah, audience. Thank you for watching Viewpoint from overseas. We'll be back next week with more topics.